Okay, yeah. Here's our softball topic. And I presented this. Somebody, I wish I would have wrote their name down. Somebody wrote this on Facebook. Um, Alternate universe. What if Laurie Strode wasn't the final girl? What if it was either Annie or Linda? So my question to you guys and the chat is, which one would you prefer to be the final girl? And before you guys give me the answer, I did a video on this. I think Jason from Sinister Cinema Reviews first did the video about this theory that one of his commenters raised, that Michael Myers isn't necessarily after Laurie Strode in the first movie. He's actually after Annie. Because if you remember, the moment where they're walking down the street and Annie goes, "Hey, jerk, speed kills," and he like slams on the brakes. And from that point on, up until he gets to Laurie, he is fully in search of Annie. And he just happens to, because Laurie comes to the door after, and then he chases Laurie. So I think Michael's just chasing anything in his path, but I think Annie was the first target. And I don't know, it's an interesting theory. So, but my answer for myself, I would say it's tough. It's kind of tied because both girls offer. I'd say Annie though. I think Annie has a little bit of final girl material in her. So yeah, that would be my answer. Would I prefer it be Annie over Laurie? No, I think Laurie is. She's set up to be the perfect final girl. So yeah, but yeah, I would go Annie. All right, and so I'm going to pass it to Davey. And Davey, what would your answer be?
Yeah, so and this one it actually came to us by way of official Halloween movies. So this is
Nice.
like the Compass International and Trancas International people. They're the ones that sent me this really cool Halloween Portal shirt. Yeah, for me it's got to be Annie as well. I mean, I guess there's like a part of Linda where you could see, maybe there's some sort of connection to Judith Myers because she's even more scandalous or whatever in a sexual way, outwardly. I don't even know if that's a word.
That's it.
But yeah, I've seen the video that Jason put together, and he makes a really good, like a very compelling argument there that he is after Annie. We just see so much more stalking with Annie. There are the moments with Laurie where she sees him and everything like that.
Yeah.
But the stalking moments with Annie, I think, are some of the better moments in the movie, and some of the mystery that I love about Michael. We see a lot of those moments when he's watching Annie on the phone and watching Annie as she goes to do her laundry and all that kind of stuff. And it seems like with Laurie, is he going to cross the street and go for Laurie no matter what?
Yeah.
Or does he follow her across the street because she enters like his space where he did his thing? So I think that's what makes me think, yeah, it's got to be Annie. And then, Linda's just friggin' collateral damage, I guess, as well. But yeah, I think Annie makes sense here, even though I wish the performance were a little bit better. It's one of those things about Halloween. I love Halloween to death, but you got, every now and then I'm like, well, you can be fair about something that you think is an absolute classic movie. And I think that the performance there could be a little bit better, but yeah.
Oh, I've even said that to myself, when I'm watching Halloween, and it's one of those rare occurrences where I almost prefer the acting to be a little bit less than great, just because it sort of adds to the innocence of Laurie, Annie, and Linda, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you get the antithesis of that is Myers, which is just this ultimate evil. So I don't know.
Annie's she's kind of a jerk though too. She's a little on the evil side. She's really mean to Laurie.
There's a name for, what would you call that? Like the backup final girl? Like I think every good slasher has what you'd call a backup final girl, for lack of a better phrase.
The decoy.
The decoy, the red hair. Sometimes there'll be a slasher and it won't have, like, the final girl won't be set up immediately. Like you'll be wondering, like, there was a movie recently I just watched and I was like, I don't know who the final girl is, because they have like 3 different girls here and they all kind of seem to occupy the same space.
Even in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, you think it could be Tina. Right?
You do?
Like that's what I think watching that movie the first time.
Yeah. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah.
What's your answer?
Yeah, it's Annie. I know that the character of Linda is supposed to be kind of an airhead, and so I just don't feel like there's enough substance or depth there to her character. Whereas Annie, I always felt like there was a little bit more to mine there. She seems to have a little bit more personality, not in like the vivacious, bubbly way like Linda does, but I think there's more there. But as far as like the theory of, well, he was after Annie and stuff like that, I've kind of always pushed back on that, because before Annie says speed kills, before any of that stuff happens, like, yes, he wants to kill Annie. That becomes very clear. But the reason he's stalking the girls at that point is Laurie. I mean, we're kind of forgetting that, like, he was inside the house when she came up to the door and she dropped the key, and he kind of immediately became fixated on her. He's outside the school watching her from the street while she's in the school. And that's all before what Annie does. So that theory is always like, and I know people have like made videos on this, but I'm always just kind of like, well, it's just wrong. Like, yes, he does eventually turn his attention to Annie to kill her after that moment when they're walking home from school. But the only reason that moment presents itself is because he is infatuated with Laurie Strode. So like she was always the target. Now, obviously Halloween 2 is going to tell you, well, it's because it's his sister. But in reality, it was just, I think she was probably the first human interaction that he had. She came up to his house while he was standing right there. And I think just was like, I'm going to kill you. Like I for whatever reason. So I objectively, I objectively believe, like, no, Annie was never intended to be the target. Laurie was the target. Annie was the side plot. It was a branch that got added onto the tree because she pissed him off. So he was like, oh, okay, well, I'll kill you now too. Like, that's fine. But then as soon as he's done with her, I mean, he sets up the room for Laurie. Yeah. It's like, I mean, it was all for Laurie. It was always about Laurie. Like, I think there's ample examples throughout that movie that Laurie was the target from the very beginning, and he just kind of got in the way.
He's working up to it.
The first clue, and I guess the main clue, was when she drops the key off at the Myers house, and I wish I had you all alone and all that stuff. Then he's locked in, you know. But then I think that's what it is. I think she was always the main target. Annie pissed him off, so I'm gonna go kill her, but she's still kind of my main target. So, all right, let's jump into the news now. Let me share this tab here.
I think he's just building up to it. It's like when I eat sweet tarts, like blue's my favorite, so maybe I like put those off to the side and I take care of the rest, and then I'm like, oh yeah, blue, I went and saved the best for last, so here we go. You know, it's time for that fruit punch. Let's go.
So is Laurie Strode fruit punch?
She is the fruit punch to my Michael. Yes.
We have an episode title now.
There we go.
The fruit punch to my Michael. I'm always looking for those little titles. And
I love it.
Davey usually presents them somehow. So, okay.
Well, hello there. You just watched an outrageous clip from the Hit the Bricks podcast. I really hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more clips, you can click here or you can click here. And you can just have yourself a ball, all right? And also follow the Hit the Bricks podcast on Spotify as well.